Јелгава 94 представува исклучителен роман од гледна точка на начинот на кој што тој го инкорпорира еден многу важен дел од субкултурата на не само на Летонија, туку и на другите посттранзицијски земји од 90-тите години. Има еден силен акцент на рок-н-рол музиката како почетна точка. Гранџот почнува, првата глава на романот почнува со самоубиството на Курт Кобейн, а потоа представува една прекрасна и интересна панорама за развојот на хеви металот, но потоа и сите порадикални негови форми во Јелгава, во Летонија, со акцент се разбира на европското влијание, на скандинавското влијание и така натаму.
Yeah, that's right. At first, maybe the first motive to write this book, one of the motives was that I read some kind of rock encyclopedia of Latvia, written by a famous rock journalist in Latvia, and it was very interesting, but there was almost nothing about metal. And I felt sorry for metal music, because it's like, except Scandinavia, I think in Europe it's almost ignored, it's like non-existent. We have movies and books about punks and hippies, but metal, it's like outside, it's something unspeakable. So I wanted to change that. I wanted to write this true story of Latvian metal, but it like slipped out of my fingers, and finally it's a book about a neurotic teenager, I guess. Yeah, in general it's a book about how it was like being young and getting adult. I wanted to remind myself and others how it was when we were young, to remind these promises we gave and we broke, when like everything seemed so intense. But it's an ironic book, because now you remember these very important, super important events, they all seem small. They were like everything at that time, so I just wanted not to forget this feeling, which was maybe the best time and the most important time in my life. And writing about metal, I somehow touched some universal elements. Teenagers of our days told me we had exactly the same story with bands like Clawfingers and Tool, and I said, how is that possible? These were the bands that we hated, and now they say that they have the same story with that music. Okay, but nothing to be done. I think this is one part of becoming an adult. It's like losing your sense of being unique, because at the time we saw that there are no other people like us, that nobody will ever understand me. But now it seems like lots of people say that they have the same experience. Yeah, it's somehow paradoxal.
Интересно е кога се зборува за книгата на Јанис Јоневс, се истакнува не само незиното значење само по себе, туку затоа што сметаат доста критичари дека таа представува еден вид на менување на парадигмата, трансформацијата на парадигмата и во контекстот на целата преостаната летонска книжевност. In one interview, your publisher has stated that this is the first Latvian novel that shows the period between the end of the Soviet Union and the arrival of New Europe in a realistic and convincing way. In your opinion, in what way does your novel capture the reality of Latvia from the mid-90s?
It was not the first one and the only one, but yeah, I was a little late when the book was already in the process of printing. There were some other books that came out just a little before me, so I guess this is the age of our generation that we finally sat down to writing. But what's my approach? I guess it's the approach from some kind of marginal position, from periphery. It's not like describing the main events. It's always like away from the big stage. And this is also the title of book Јелгава. Јелgava is the city where the action takes place mostly, and it was for a long time considered to be the ugliest city of Latvia, famous for having 2 prisons and a psychiatric hospital. And this time when you said that you're from Јelgava, it already meant something. It was already funny. And when I was like 10 years old, I was so unhappy about that my bad destiny made me born in this boring and ugly city. But when I was teenager and when all this rebellion against the system and against anything started, and I understood it's like the best place what you can imagine, that this worst is the best. The working title of the book was "The Best Destiny is Black," and it was like our motto, like rejecting everything nice, and that it was like from the perspective of underground. But somehow it turned out that it described some general processes as well.
Јанис, why didn't these young people stay brutal? What did their brutality transform into? Do you still listen to the bands mentioned in the book, or they are just part of your past, of your maturation?
No, I'm not so brutal as I'm used to be. So that's. This was like our motto: this stay brutal, not to fall into the temptation to be civilized, to live some kind of happy life. But yeah, we fell into that temptation, and that's one of the motives of the book. But I guess that deep inside we've stayed the same, and that's our bourgeois lifestyle. The very essence of us, it's still the same, and this is somehow paradoxal, but yeah, it's like that. And I listen sometimes to this music, and I go to concerts, but I guess maybe there was some kind of overdose of that music at the time, and it was too much. But if in the judgment day I'll have to answer if I'm still metalhead, then I'll say yes. But
deeply in your heart.
but the lifestyle has changed, yes, and I could say that it's a book of a traitor who recognizes that he's a traitor, but still it was the best time. From other side, I could say that this book is like some sort of compensation, because I wanted so bad to play a guitar in a metal band at the time, but I never succeeded. So this was fail, and this book is some kind of compensation. It's my input into this Latvian metal history.
One more question regarding this. This novel is an overview on a specific subculture in the 90s, as we said, the culture of metal in its different forms. These are young people who are trying to be outside the mainstream, but they also have the same problems, questions, dilemmas as most of their peers. Just stained with the taste of music that is less commercial, more difficult to listen to. They are determined by their particular difference in the environment, their outsider status, their unwillingness, but isn't there determination to listen to certain music that implies a certain style, fashion, image, way, simultaneously entering some kind of mold, social and life mold? One of the many molds that can be chosen, offering the comfort to be a part of a particular group or community.
And that's the big question. Can we really escape the life? Maybe we can't. Maybe at the end it takes us, and we. But this escaping the rules, all these teenagers, we were like running away from rules imposed by our parents, by our school, by all this system, and we were rejecting this uniform. And then at one moment I understood that I'm really into another uniform, even much more strict, and the rules are even more severe. And then I chose at one moment to walk away from that, now there's no way back, because I started losing my hair, and But yes, now we can think if it was really trying to escape from normality, or was it escaping from loneliness and seeking for identity and some group to be a part in? Yeah, could be that.
Да, секако.